bike's coming along really cool. It is going in the direction that we want.
Orange County Choppers, founded by Paul Teutul Sr., became one of the most iconic custom motorcycle companies in America. The company achieved fame through its Discovery Channel reality series, American Chopper, which showcased the drama, creativity, and passion behind building motorcycles. Paul Sr., with his towering presence, booming voice, and strong opinions, became the face of a dream many admired. Fans tuned in not just for the bikes, but for the family dynamics, creative disputes, and fiery tempers that unfolded on screen. Alongside him, Paul Teutul Jr., his son, brought unparalleled design skill to the shop. His creativity and vision helped turn OCC into a national sensation. Viewers were captivated by intricate bikes, daring ideas, and the tension that often erupted between father and son. Other figures, like Mikey Teutul, Vinnie Martino, Cody Connolly, and Rick Petco, played essential roles, providing both comic relief and technical skill. At its height, OCC symbolized the American dream, a business built from sweat, steel, and family loyalty. Fans cheered as each new bike came to life, each more spectacular than the last. Behind the cameras, the company's success seemed unstoppable, and the Teutuls were viewed as a family that had turned their passion into both fame and fortune. The drama, rivalries, and public disputes only added to the show's appeal, creating a loyal fan base that watched every episode. OCC's rise was fueled by innovation, media exposure, and the public's fascination with motorcycles and the people who built them. Merchandise, appearances, and TV contracts added to the company's empire, making it a household name. Yet, despite appearances of success, the intense pressures of business, creative differences, and personal conflicts foreshadowed challenges that would shake the company to its core. While the show presented the image of a thriving, united family business, behind the scenes, financial mismanagement, personal struggles, and tension were quietly taking their toll. The story of OCC's rise illustrates how talent, charisma, and media exposure can create incredible fame, but that success on television does not always translate into long-term stability or security. Even the strongest empires can fall, and for Orange County Choppers, the downfall was sudden and dramatic. By 2018, Paul Sr. filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy, revealing debts of nearly $1.7 million owed to almost 50 creditors. While his assets totaled around $1.9 million, they barely covered what he owed. Even his once proud Montgomery, New York mansion, a symbol of OCC's success, was sold at a loss. Financial problems were compounded by lawsuits, including one filed by business partner Thomas Derbyshire, accusing Paul Sr. of misusing $3 million intended for a new show. Court records revealed delays in filming, budget mismanagement, and use of company funds for personal projects. Additional legal troubles, including back taxes, credit card debts, and allegations of investment scams, painted a stark contrast to the empire fans admired on television. Paul Jr. was not immune to financial hardship either. After leaving OCC following a public feud with his father, he filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy in 2018, with debts nearly equal to his $1.8 million in assets. The family dynamic, once central to the show's appeal, became a source of public spectacle and personal strain. Mikey Teutul battled alcoholism, which led to his temporary removal from the shop and a need for rehab. Other employees faced their own challenges, including lawsuits over copyright infringement and unpaid royalties. Even minor figures, often behind the scenes, were affected. Foreclosures, legal disputes, and financial losses extended to nearly every member of the OCC family and staff. The collapse highlighted the fragility of businesses built on public perception and personal relationships. Cable TV fame, which once brought immense profits and tension, could not protect against poor financial management, family conflicts, and market changes. The downfall of OCC serves as a cautionary tale. Even companies that appear untouchable on television can crumble when oversight, discipline, and communication are lacking. Fans were shocked to see a company they admired struggle with bankruptcy, broken relationships, and legal turmoil. While the public saw chaos, behind the scenes, individuals worked hard to survive and rebuild their personal and professional lives. The story of OCC's collapse shows that fame does not guarantee financial security or personal happiness, and it emphasizes the real human cost of reality television stardom. After losing much of his fortune, Paul Sr. sought to rebuild his life and legacy. Moving to Clearwater, Florida, he started the O.C. Museum and Roadhouse, a smaller-scale venture where he could continue building bikes and connecting with fans. At 76, Paul Sr. remained active, posting YouTube videos, attending events, and building motorcycles with the same energy that had made him famous decades earlier. Despite the decline of the television empire, he retained his identity as a master builder and public figure. The journey was not just financial, but deeply personal. Bankruptcy, lawsuits, and fractured family relationships marked a dramatic chapter in his life. Yet, he showed resilience, demonstrating that passion and skill can continue to thrive even after public failure. Paul Sr.'s story highlights the importance of determination, reinvention, and the refusal to let setbacks define one's identity. He maintained his reputation as a builder, staying connected to the motorcycle community and inspiring others with his dedication. While fame and fortune had faded, his ability to continue creating, teaching, and sharing his craft illustrates a different kind of success. It is a testament to personal perseverance, showing that even after dramatic losses, one can find fulfillment and maintain a legacy in meaningful ways. Paul Sr.'s life after OCC exemplifies the challenge of starting over after public failure, as well as the importance of staying true to one's passion, even when circumstances change drastically. Paul Jr., once the public face of OCC's creativity, experienced both betrayal and triumph. The father-son feud, televised for millions, culminated in a public firing that forced Paul Jr. to leave the company he helped build. Despite legal battles and financial setbacks, he founded Paul Jr. Designs in New Jersey, creating custom motorcycles for clients including Microsoft, Cadillac, and Mercedes-Benz. While his net worth never matched his OCC fame, his creative freedom allowed him to thrive professionally. His story shows that leaving a familiar empire, even after betrayal, can lead to new opportunities and personal fulfillment. Paul Jr. continued to influence motorcycle culture, attending competitions and judging events. His journey illustrates the importance of resilience, innovation, and focusing on one's craft. While the television spotlight faded, his work remained respected and influential, proving that reputation and skill can outlast media exposure. He also demonstrates how creativity, when paired with business sense and independence, can recover from setbacks and build a sustainable career. Paul Jr.'s life after OCC reflects both the cost of public feuds and the possibility of redemption through dedication to one's vision. Mikey Teutul, the comic and calm force on OCC, faced a darker side behind the camera. Struggling with alcoholism, he was removed from the shop, making rehabilitation a necessity. Mikey's journey illustrates the human cost of reality TV fame, long hours, and family conflict. After recovery, he shifted his focus to stability and creativity. Returning to OCC as assistant general manager, he also founded Fart Products LLC, selling homemade pasta sauces, and opened an art gallery showcasing metal sculptures and paintings. Mikey's story emphasizes that personal growth, adaptation, and creative pursuits can provide purpose and fulfillment beyond public recognition. Despite losing fortune and fame, Mikey built a life that combined professional accomplishment with personal well-being. His journey highlights that recovery, reinvention, and finding new avenues for success are possible even after significant personal and public setbacks. Vinny Martino left OCC in 2007, co-founding V-Force Customs before the 2008 financial crisis forced the company to close. Pivoting to Martino Motorsports, Vinny focused on repairing cars and trucks in Montgomery, New York, building a modest but stable business. Similarly, Rick Petco, the unsung hero of OCC, worked tirelessly behind the scenes, commuting long hours to craft bikes while avoiding the public drama. He eventually started RPD and Company, creating custom knives and wedding bands, prioritizing personal fulfillment and stability over fame. Their stories show that quiet, steady work, dedication, and resilience can result in success and satisfaction, even without media exposure. They demonstrate that not every measure of achievement requires television attention, celebrity, or large-scale fame. Other figures, like Cody Connolly and Jason Paul, experienced the pressures of growing up on television. Cody left the motorcycle world entirely after legal disputes, now running a demolition and excavation business. Jason Paul, a designer with innovative ideas, left OCC to become a SolidWorks brand ambassador. Employees like Nick Hansford, Christian Welter, and Daniel Teutul avoided lawsuits and bankruptcy, quietly honing their skills and building respected careers. Daniel Teutul, in particular, turned past financial scandals into success, founding Gabriel Steel and expanding it to employ dozens of people. These stories illustrate that success is not always public or dramatic. Skills, discretion, and dedication can create long-term achievement even after television fame fades. The saga of OCC is more than motorcycles and reality TV drama. It is a story of family, ambition, betrayal, resilience, and adaptation. Fame and fortune proved fragile, as financial mismanagement, lawsuits, addiction, and family conflicts affected nearly every member of the company. Yet, many found ways to rebuild, pivot, or thrive quietly. From Paul Sr., S Museum and YouTube videos, to Paul Jr., S High-End Designs, Mikey's Art and Culinary Ventures, and Daniel Tutul's Steel Empire, each story highlights human perseverance. Even those who struggled or disappeared from the spotlight carry lessons about the cost of public fame and the importance of personal resilience. The legacy of OCC endures, not just in iconic motorcycles, but in the stories of people who adapted, persevered, and found meaning beyond the cameras. The empire they built may have fragmented, but the influence, craftsmanship, and lessons remain, echoing through motorcycle culture, entrepreneurship, and personal growth. Orange County Choppers, OCC, was more than a motorcycle company. It was a symbol of creativity, family, and the American dream. Founded by Paul Teutul Sr., the company rose to fame through American Chopper, captivating audiences with custom bike builds, family drama, and fiery father-son conflicts. But behind the roaring engines and TV cameras, the empire faced financial collapse, legal battles, addiction struggles, and broken relationships. Here's a deep dive into what happened to OCC and where its stars are now. Orange County Choppers, OCC, was once the face of custom motorcycles in America. Built by Paul Teutul Sr., the company became famous through American Chopper, a reality show that mixed incredible bike builds with intense family drama. Fans watched as machines were crafted from raw steel, but what truly kept viewers hooked was the explosive relationship between Paul Sr. and his son, Paul Jr. together. They turned a small workshop into a global brand. But when the cameras stopped rolling, everything began to fall apart, at its peak. OCC represented success, creativity, and the American dream. The shop was full of talent. Paul Jr. was a creative genius behind many of the company's most iconic bikes. Mikey Teutul added humor and balance to the chaos. Skilled builders like Vinnie Martino, Rick Petco, and Cody Connolly helped bring designs to life. The show made them all famous, and the business expanded into merchandise, sponsorships, and appearances. It seemed unstoppable. But behind the scenes, cracks were already forming to be Y2018. Those cracks turned into a full collapse. Paul Sr. filed for bankruptcy, revealing debts of nearly $1.7 million. His mansion in New York, once a symbol of success, was sold under pressure. Lawsuits began to pile up. One of the biggest came from investor Thomas Derbyshire, who accused Paul Sr. of misusing millions of dollars meant for a new show. There were also unpaid debts, tax issues, and legal disputes with vendors. The empire that once looked powerful on television was struggling to survive in real life. Paul Jr. faced his own battles. After a highly public feud with his father, he left OCC and started Paul Jr. Designs. While he continued to create stunning motorcycles for major brands like Microsoft and Mercedes-Benz, financial pressure eventually led him to file for bankruptcy as well. Even though he rebuilt his career, the relationship with his father was deeply damaged, and the family bond that once defined the show was never fully restored. Mikey Tutul's journey was even more personal. Known for his humor and easygoing personality, he was dealing with serious struggles behind the scenes. His battle with alcohol forced him out of the shop and into rehab. It was a turning point in his life. After recovery, Mikey returned to OCC in a different role, focusing on management and social media. He also explored new paths, including art and a food business selling pasta sauces. His story is one of redemption, showing that it is possible to rebuild even after hitting rock bottom. Other members of the OCC team chose quieter paths. Vinnie Martino left the company early, starting his own shop before the 2008 financial crisis forced him to shut it down. He later opened a smaller, stable business repairing cars and trucks. Rick Petco, one of the most dedicated workers at OCC, stepped away from the spotlight and started a company making custom knives and wedding bands. Both men found success away from cameras, focusing on steady work and personal satisfaction instead of fame. Cody Connolly, who joined OCC as a teenager, also walked away from the motorcycle world. After a legal dispute over unpaid royalties, he chose a completely different path. Today, he runs an excavation business and lives a quiet life with his family. His story shows that not everyone wants to stay in the spotlight, especially after experiencing the pressure of reality TV at a young age. Some figures stayed out of the drama entirely. Builders like Nick Hansford and Christian Welter focused on their craft and avoided the lawsuits and conflicts that affected others. Daniel Teutul, another member of the Teutul family, took a different route by building a successful steel business. Despite early legal trouble, he managed to grow his company and achieve stability without relying on television fame. The fall of OCC was not just about one person. It was a combination of financial mismanagement, family conflict, legal issues, and a changing market. The 2008 financial crisis played a major role, as fewer people could afford luxury custom motorcycles. At the same time, the popularity of cable TV began to decline, reducing the exposure that once fueled the business. Without strong financial planning and unity, the company could not sustain its success. Today, the legacy of Orange County Choppers still lives on, but in a very different way. Paul Sr. continues building bikes in Florida, connected with fans, and keeping the brand alive on a smaller scale. Paul Jr. remains active in the custom bike world, focusing on high-end designs and creative freedom. Mikey has built a life centered on recovery, creativity, and stability. Others have found success in quiet businesses, far from the spotlight. The story of OCC is more than just a rise and fall. It is a lesson about fame, family, and resilience. It shows that success on television does not always reflect reality. Money, pressure, and conflict can quickly destroy even the strongest empires. But it also shows that people can rebuild. Whether through art, business, or simple hard work, many former OCC members found new paths and new meaning in their lives. In the end, the loud engines may have faded from TV screens, but the impact of Orange County Choppers is still felt today. Their bikes remain iconic, and their stories continue to inspire. Some lost everything, but many found something just as valuable: a second chance. There was a time when Orange County Choppers ruled television. The sound of roaring engines, sparks fly in the workshop, and heated arguments between father and son made American Chopper one of the most watched shows on TV. At the center of it all was Paul Teutul Sr., a tough, no-nonsense builder who turned a small motorcycle shop into a global brand. Alongside him was his son, Paul Teutul Jr., a creative genius whose designs helped define the company's identity. Together, they built more than motorcycles. They built an empire that millions admired. But behind the fame, something